Hi, good to see you. Good morning and good afternoon and good evening. Hey Georgie, how you doing? How's everybody out there? IG, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. Delighted that you're here. Say hello in the stream and the comments. Hi Pansy, how are you today? Say hello, let us know where you're from, and particularly what's that weather looking like where you are. It's been real different. I think summer is finally here in Detroit. And so I'm glad to see it here. Have been more 31. I see the 31 there on TikTok. I can't see the other. Deb, how you doing? Good morning. Yes, it's been I've been trying to get myself adjusted to the weather. Hey, Karen and King and Rosa and Mary, come on in. Glad to see everyone. Well, I want you to know I celebrated with my two youngest grandchildren their third birthday. Now, you know that was so much fun. They are twins. And it's just so wonderful just to see them just growing. Just shows you how time passes. Nancy and Marie on IG. Hey, Renee, how you doing? Good to see Bernadette, my girl. How you do? Oh, it's going to be 100 today. I saw your announcement, Bernadette, about a new nonprofit service or something opening up and your excitement about that. I'm so happy for you. So good to see you. Before we get started, hey, boss, and hey, Mary over there on TikTok. Before we get started, I do want you all to know that I've got my workshop is coming up. You all asked me for it. You wanted me to talk about and teach on finding direction after 50. I've got four-step method. Life by Design is a QR code up here for that. It's on Zoom, virtual next week, a week from tomorrow, August 14th. And it's going to be a really great session if you got questions in your mind about, well, what's next for me? If you've been having that restless feeling and you're not done yet, but you're not sure what might be that next step, or perhaps you've retired and you're wondering what to do in retirement, or maybe you're coming to retirement, or maybe you're 5, 10 years away from retirement, ain't even thinking about it, but know that there's something different you want. Or maybe you've faced a life challenge recently and it's kind of shaken things up, which loss will do that. Health diagnoses that, you know, just knock your socks off. All those things happen and you're confused and you're uncertain about what to do. Well, that's what my workshop will help you solve. It'll take you from that uncertainty and confusion to clarity and being able to jump out of bed in the morning and be real clear about and excited about what you want to do next. There's a QR code on the screen for my friends on TikTok or in my Extraordinary Women um, influencers. There's a link in the chat. Look at the profile. Um, just check it out for me. I would love for you all to join. Oh, it's not up there on TikTok. I'm getting a note. It's not in the. Okay, I'm gonna take care of that. All right. Um, Follow me at Dr. Geneva Speaks, and I'll make sure that gets there. I'm gonna put a link in there. Karina, can you put the link in the chat on TikTok for me? Thank you. Okay, so TikTok, my TikTok friends, Karina's coming over there. She's going to put the link in the chat. And this is for this workshop. It's virtual. It's Thursday. Y'all gonna want to see it. Okay. So, I want to talk today about careers because this is one of the biggest questions that I get. Uh, is it just too late for me to do something? And I work with women who are in their 50s, late 50s, 60s, and want to make those career changes. And there's aspects of this career change that I wanted to share with you, give you some insights and some definite strategies if that's what you're thinking about. Okay, so the link for the workshop is in the chat. If you're on TikTok, on IG, you should see it in the comments. There is a QR code. So we're going to get excited. I want to take a personal note and give a shout out to Mary Sheffield and Reverend Kinlock, who in Detroit yesterday made it through the primary. And so for Detroit, that's particularly exciting news because it's highly, highly possible that we might have for the first time a female mayor in the city of Detroit. So that's some exciting possibility, exciting news. I want to send my congratulations out to both of the candidates who made it through the primary, and for all of us who are wishing and hoping that we will see female leadership in Detroit. So I want to ask you, if you're over 50 and you feel invisible at work, I want you to know you're not just imagining it. But the problem isn't your age. It's that people don't know what you want now or how to see you differently. So I'm going to share 3 shifts that help me pivot careers in my 50s, 60s, and 70s without starting over. And the third one is a game changer that changed everything for me. So you're going to want to stay for that one. By the end of this conversation, you'll stop blaming your age and start seeing what's really holding you back. And you'll go from feeling invisible and stuck to being seen and ready to make your next career move with confidence. Now, let me share why I know this works. I've actually done this 3 times. First, in my 50s, I left a long standing position with United Way where people had known me for decades to create a startup nonprofit from the ground up, completely different organization, different mission. People didn't know how to see me outside of that United Way identity. Then in my late 60s, I made an even bigger leap. I left the nonprofit world entirely to start my own business. Now, you want to talk about people not knowing what to do with you. And then in my early 70s, after some major life changes, I regrouped and launched what I'm doing now, a completely refocused company with a new mission. And each time I faced the same challenge you're facing. How do you get people to see you in a new way when they're so used to the old you? But the answer isn't starting over. It's these 3 shifts that help me navigate each transition. Okay. So here's the first shift that started changing how people saw me. When I left United Way after all those years, I made a huge mistake. I kept introducing myself as former United Way executive. I was still talking about who I used to be instead of the role I wanted to play next. I'd say things like, well, I used to run programs at United Way, but now I'm trying to see what happened there. I was leading with my past instead of my future. Here's what I learned. Yes, ageism is real, but sometimes what feels like people dismissing us because of our age is actually confusion. They see your experience, but they don't know what to do with it, how to categorize someone of your level and experience in a new context. This used to happen to me all the time when I would go to the gym, work out on a consistent basis. You see people working out that you know. You're in your workout clothes, you working out, they working out, you say hi, and then a couple of days later, you run into them all suited down. They got their business clothes and suit on, and so do you. And it's like a new experience. It really is. You see them differently. And here's the thing, it really doesn't matter which one it is, whether it's the confusion or, in fact, ageism. I'm gonna move my mic because I keep bumping into it. But it doesn't matter whether people are responding to you because of their age or some kind of age bias, or they're confused about how to deal with you in a new context. Whatever it is, the solution is the same either way. Think about it. When someone asks you what you do you lead with your old title, or do you spend time explaining what you're moving away from instead of where you're headed? I was invisible because I was stuck in my old story. The shift, I stopped saying, I used to run United Way, and started saying, I help organizations build partnerships that change communities. Same experience, completely different message. Suddenly, people knew how to think about me. They could see where I fit now into their world, their space. So you're not too old, you're just telling the wrong story. People need to know what you want to play next, not what you're leaving behind. The moment you get clear on your new story and start telling it, everything changes. That's when you become visible again. But here's the thing about visibility, it's not enough to just change your story. You need the right people to hear it, which brings me to the second shift. Um, and this second shift kind of surprised me. When I decided to leave the nonprofit I built from the ground up after 10 years, millions raised, all the benchmarks hit, I gave my board proper notice, of course. Within 3 or 4 days of the word getting out, I got a phone call. One of the foundation leaders I'd worked with for years called and said, Hey, let's have lunch. We hear you leaving. We want you to come and talk to us about consulting with us. I didn't have to chase that opportunity, it came to me. But here's the key insight, it wasn't magic. It was because I'd spent years building real relationships. That foundation leader knew my work. They saw what I could deliver. And here's what you need to understand. If you in your 50s, 60s, or 70s, you have that same goal of mine. You've built relationships over decades. People know what you can do. They've seen you deliver results. And that's something no 30-year older has. Your next move isn't going to come from competing with hundreds of other applicants online. It's going to come from your network, people who already know what you can do. But listen, you can't just sit and wait for them to think about you. You have to let them know you're open to something new. So I started having conversations too. I called people I'd worked with and said, I'm thinking about doing something different. What do you think? Just sharing where my head was. Start having those conversations. Let your network know you're exploring. You'll be amazed at what comes back to you. But here's what I realized. Everything I just shared, the new story, the conversations, everything we've covered so far, it all works, but only if you know exactly what direction you're heading. Without that clarity, you're just spinning your wheels with better words. And that's why I created the Finding Direction After 50 workshop, because the how only works when you're crystal clear on the what. But I'll share more about that with you at the end. Um, Let me share with you the shift that really changed everything for me. When I was ready to make my third career move, I sat down and asked myself one question. What am I actually good at? Not what my job title said, not what my resume listed. What was I actually good at that created real results? I realized I wasn't just a nonprofit executive and all that went with that. I was someone who could walk into a room full of strangers and get them working together towards something bigger than themselves. I could see connections others missed. I could raise money, lots of money, because I had the skills, the training, and the practice to make the case that moved people to action. But here's what I discovered, and this is huge for women making career changes. And it's something I call the strategic language gap. Women often do brilliant strategic work, but describe it in softer terms, while men do the same work, but say strategic initiatives and business development. This is critical for career pivots. I used to talk about my experience and skills not using strategic language. And so I switched that so that I'm saying not just I'm good with people, but I build strategic partnerships. Not just I helped with fundraising, but I secured over $100 million in funding. And maybe for you, it's not just I managed teams, but I led organizational transformation. See the diff I'm talking about? Or it might be not just I handled difficult situations, but it should be I navigated complex stakeholder relationships to achieve organizational goals. Those skills, they don't have an expiration date. And when you can name them clearly in ways that articulate their true worth and value, they translate everywhere. Here's what you need to understand: you don't need more degrees, you don't need to start over. You need to get crystal clear on what you actually do that creates value, and learn how to talk about it in ways that demonstrate its real impact. Think about it. So, what do people come to you for? What problems do you solve that others can't? When you walk into a room, what changes? How would a man describe those same skills? Think about it. That's your value. The value that you identify for what happens, what you're actually good at. And that value works in more places than you think. And that's why learning to articulate it is so important. You're not starting over. You're taking everything you've learned and applying it somewhere fresh and strategic. So here's my question for you: what are you actually good at? Really good at? And how can you describe it in a way that shows its true strategic impact? Because that's your ticket to whatever comes next. Here's the truth now. I want to tell you everything we've been talking about today, this visibility, the conversations, the strategic language, it's all completely useless unless you understand the steps I teach in my Finding Direction After 50 workshop. Because you can't master telling people where you're going if you don't know where you're going. And the steps that I teach, they're what turns confusion into clarity, uncertainty into direction, and I don't know what I want into here's exactly what's next for me. So if you're ready to get that clarity, got a QR code, the link below. Get your clarity first. Everything else will flow from there. Trust me. You came here to listen to me today, wondering if it was too late to change careers after 50. Now you know the truth. It's not your age holding you back, it's visibility. And visibility, that's something you can control. Okay? So you can do something about that. Can't do something about your aging process. That's going to happen every single day you get older. So let's not focus on the ageism, the age bias, the age discrimination. Oh, I'm getting too old. Let's put that aside. Let's focus on what you can control: visibility. And you have everything you need: the experience, the relationships, the wisdom. You just need to see it differently. So here's what happens next: you stop telling the old story and start telling the new one. You have those conversations. You use language that shows your real value. You're not starting over, you're stepping up. The difference between feeling invisible and feeling seen, it's these three shifts, and you just learn them. If you want to go deeper and get crystal clear on exactly what direction you're heading, Finding Direction After 50, my workshop, will give you that roadmap. And, we got the QR code and the link. But either way, remember this: you're not too old. You're exactly where you need to be to make your first incredible move. Now, take this and go be more visible and change your careers. And let's keep finding that clarity and talking about it. So, what did you all think? Leave me some feedback or some comments. Was this helpful? Was this valuable for you? Let's see what questions and uh, we might have. Okay. So, Bernadette, you got a comment? I see. Let's oh, Bernadette says, love this today. Clarity, seeing yourself, knowing exactly what you're good at. That's right. Yes, strategic language, master your identity, know where you're going and who you are. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Bernadette, for that feedback. And again, that's you got what I wanted you to hear. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I see Gina King. I see a thumbs up on LinkedIn. Um, yes. And if I can't see your comments or questions, please don't put it on, don't put it on my heart because I'm trying to do it. It is the tech or my I have to put my glasses on so I can see. Sometimes I can't keep up with just everything. But I will get back to your comments. Okay, so we do have, let me see, we have a couple of questions. So this is the time for Q&A or any comments you might want to make about the lesson or really anything you want to ask me that has to do with uh, reinventing yourself, doing that transformation, living your most vibrant life in midlife. That stage, 50s, 60s, 70s, that second act that we call it. Okay. All right. So here's one. What should I say when I reach out to someone in my network? That's a good question. Well, first of all, you want to say hi. How you doing? And that's funny, but I really mean that. Meaning, you want to ask how that person in your network is doing. What's going on with them in their life? What's new? What's different? How they've been doing? Because you want to show and feel that you care about what's happening with them. And then they'll ask you how you're doing. And oftentimes that gives you the opening to then talk about what it is that's going on with you. And one of the things I tend to say is just, just talk the real deal, the truth. It's so good to reconnect. I been thinking about a new direction, or I've got this new project on my mind, want to know what you think. Or, I've been tossing this idea around and know that you've always had great insight and we've had a good relationship. I'd like to talk about it to you. So again, that's the real deal. And then listen and be open, uh, and be open to that kind of constructive criticism. The other thing is, I would always have the ask in mind and ask it. I can't tell you how many times I've worked with people and we're they're going to get that job or want to make an offer or raise that money or ask for a contribution, and they go through the case and give all the facts and all the research and do everything, but then don't make a clear direct ask, which means that whenever you reach out to your network, you need to be crystal clear on what your ask is. I'd like you to help me, you know, find, two or three people you can refer me to. I'd like you to write me a recommendation. I'd like you to consider me for that position. Whatever it is that you want, you need to make sure in that conversation that you clearly articulate the ask. So that's my feedback on that one. Um, Dr. Ferg, thank you for your comment um, on the insight. Thank you. Okay. Oh, all right. So we've got a question from Chris. But how what's that question? Can we put that up? But how you doing, Chris? Good to see you. Um, but how do you find your new identity when you're starting something totally different? Oh, right. I love this. Well, first of all, Chris, you have got to come to my workshop because that's the question that's one of the biggest questions that we deal with. And I will, you know, help you with that question and discover using my methodology how to, you know, find that, how to. And that's one. So come to my workshop again. It's Thursday, the August 14th, 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, $47 on Zoom. And if you can't make it, oh, Chris is signed up. All right. Oh, fantastic, Chris. Hey, well, we're going to answer that in there. So we're going to make sure. But for everyone else who's listening, though I hope everyone else is going to join me. But for everyone else, let me just give a couple of things about finding your new identity. Well, I first want to start off with the mindset shift. Um, Finding yourself, reclaiming, rediscovering yourself is important. And it's important to understand that you are who you are, who you are, so that we take on roles that we play. And oftentimes those roles um, confuse us when we come to ask, well, who am I when the roles shift? So if you've been a mom for years and then your young people grow into adults and leave the house, which is what we raise them to do, you ask yourself, well, who am I now? I've been mom for so many years. Who am I now? The thing is, you are still you. The role has changed, but you are still you. So it's a two-parter, Chris. One, you want to really reflect on who you are, what your passions are, what your values are. What are the things you love to do? What are the things that you don't want to do anymore? Really diving deep into rediscovering the you without the mom role. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then the second part of that, and it's the different sides of the same coin. The second part of that is then really having the fun and exploration of who you can, who you can grow into even more, what new roles you can take on, you know? How can you build into something new? So that's the process. And really both of them are processes, but it's the fun part. You can make it fun. So we'll dive deeper into that, but more importantly, I'll give you tools that you can use to help discover the new roles that you want to take on in moving forward. Okay, Chris, thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you. Um, oh, I got a question from the feminine guru. How you doing? Feminine Guru says, Nidra says, she ain't quite 50, but she still, can you still come? Nidra, you, Feminine Guru, you know, wherever I am, whatever I'm teaching, if you there, I am happy. Of course you can come. And let me tell you what the beauty is about the question that Feminine Guru, and follow her on TikTok. Um, and she's probably on other social medias, but that's where we connected. But you know what the beauty is about her question is that she's thinking ahead. So I believe she's in probably in her 40s, and she's thinking ahead, because you know what? First of all, that 50 gonna come like that. It's gonna be here in a second. And doing that prep work, that is so sweet, because you can begin putting in practice at whatever age you are now, so that when you step in to them 50s, hey, you got your stuff going on. So absolutely come to my workshop. You welcome. Absolutely, all the time. Love it. And if any of you out there are, again, you in your 40s, my my youngest daughter, who's a millennial, always wants to come to my workshops. And you can do that. Now, I'm going to tell you, I think I'm seeing some comments. I don't know if they're coming through, Karina, but I see some popping in from Facebook, and I'm not sure I'm seeing everything, but let me tell you, thank you for uh, making your comments and being here. So we got other questions. Um, any questions? Uh, so Ronald, I see we have a question from Ronald about veterans and particular demographic, and he's saying, I guess many of the things I'm talking about apply to transitioning veterans. You're absolutely right, and can help them move successfully into corporate life. Thank you for that. Thank you for that insight. And Ronald, I'm assuming you are a veteran. I want to thank you for your service, and for the millions and millions of others out there who've given given service to our country. Thank you for all of that. And yes, these conversations can apply to um, many different demographics. And if you're a veteran going into midlife, thinking about your career and that transitioning, please, let's dive deeper. Let's work together on this. Come to my workshop on August the 14th, Thursday, Zoom. And if you can't make it, the replay will be available for purchase. But please, oops, QR code here. Okay, so I think I'm getting the signal that's. Do we have time for any more questions? Let me see. Got 5 minutes to go. Are there any more? Well, I do have. I've got this one. What platforms or tools do you recommend for being more visible now? Uh, Clearly, if you're looking to change careers, I think LinkedIn is one of the best. You really can't beat it. I think it's a great place to uh, comment, to discover, to connect with people, but more importantly, it's an excellent platform for you to display your thought leadership by writing a newsletter, by your post, by now your videos, short short videos that LinkedIn really likes and favors, or by doing lives like I'm doing. I've been coming on LinkedIn every Wednesday at 9 o'clock. I think I'm moving into 2.5 years now. And time flies. But you can do this too. And I started this in my mid 70s. I'm in my mid 70s now. And I, started this. So you can do it too. Again, as the conversation today, it ain't about the age. Let's focus on those things that we have control over. Because living a vibrant life is a choice that we can make, and we can do those things. And one of the, I'm often asked about, well, Dr. Geneva, I know you do these lives, you're on YouTube, growing my YouTube channel. Come on over there, like and subscribe. Watch my videos over there. I'm on TikTok. How you doing, TikTok? My community. I've got a Facebook community. Love you all on IG. I'm often asked, well, Dr. Geneva, you're doing all this, you're speaking, we're seeing you everywhere. Why? Why are you doing this? And a lot has to do with the legacy that I want to leave for my children, and the legacy for those leaders coming up, those young leaders who are just incredible, are brilliant. And I want to share what I've learned from more than 40 plus years of experience in both nonprofit and the profit world. So I want to share that and give those insights. And to get to this point, to get to this vibrant point in my life, to be real clear about what I want to do, I had to make sure that my path, that I knew what I wanted to do. And I had to know where I was going, even after, losing my husband of 40 years and my parents all around the same time. And going through those transitions, I had to reinvent myself so that I could find my clarity and be on this path. And that's what I share and teach about. And that's why I invite you to come to my Finding Direction After 50 workshop, because the life by um, design method that I created is based upon all those years of experience and growth and tragedy and loss and failures and successes. It's all built into, I put everything in my life by design method. And so that's what I'm be teaching. So, okay. So time is up. Thank you so much for being here, staying with us. Love you all. Uh, Extraordinary Women Influencers, mwah, TikTok community. Thank you for being with us. The link for the workshop is in the comments. And in a moment, as soon as I get off this, I'll put it in my profile. I forgot to do that. Listen, solo entrepreneur here, working with my fabulous producer, my AA chief operating officer who helps me, Leah Hubbard. Shout out to her. But doing this best I can, coming to you. So I'll get that link in the bio. I'll get that up there. It'll be there. But you can always find me. Mwah. Love you all. See you next time. See you next Wednesday, 9 o'clock. We'll see you next week. Tell your friends who might profit or, find what we're talking about here of value. Just want to quickly check. I think I've gotten to all my comments. Thank you, Bernadette. Oh, now see this. Okay, so I know we're closing, But do you want me to do a workshop or video or live or something on how to go live? And I know it's nerve-wracking. If y'all think that I'm cool as a cucumber every time I come up here, no, it wasn't when I started out. No way, Jose. No way. No way was it. It was tough. Um, but I've gotten to the point of where you can learn how to do that. And Mari, thank you. Thank you for being here. All right, I'm going to do that then. Yes, and I've got I'm an affiliate of okay, I'm an affiliate of StreamYard, which I think is one of the best tools and techniques to use. And so that link, I think, is in my description on YouTube. It's a great way to get started. And to do this, you just do it. But I will do that. Watch, it'll be coming up. See y'all. Bye.